and stay brony, my friend.
Yeah!
And remember, Granny Smith loves you.
Yep.
Any brony that follows me,
What's
I
up,
follow them.
what's up, fellas? We're here. It is Monday night. Every other week, we're back in San Jose, California. The man you heard over there, Brent Hodge, who likes to talk when a camera comes on. Brent, how you doing?
Good. How
Good.
you doing, Dusty?
I'm doing awesome. I
Good.
picked up my new bass guitar today, so I'm like, as soon as this is over, I'm gonna start thumping. Thump, 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 thump. It's gonna be awesome.
Right on.
Yeah,
Wow.
y'all. Now, for people who don't know, there is another Brony documentary. This one put on by Mr. Hodge of Hodge Films, which is backed by Ashley Ball. Now, this has been going on for a fairly long time. Probably started before the other Brony documentary got started and ended, and is still in production a little bit. Although it's very close to being done, from what I hear.
Yes.
Yes, very
Yes,
close to being done. We're going to talk a little bit about the Brony documentary. Brony the documentary, which is the actual name of the film, if I'm not mistaken. Yes?
Yep, that's it.
Brony the
Got it.
documentary. So we are going to get into it right away. Let me get an image up on the screen so you know what Brent looks like. There's his handsome mug right there. So, Brent, you are not new to the film industry. You actually, looking over your history, you are not only a filmmaker, but you've also been acted a little bit, been in front of the camera. You were in Smallville for an episode, correct?
Yeah, correct. I was a
And
cop.
Paradise Lost.
That's right.
Yeah.
You've done your research.
Done my research.
Yeah.
What's it like as an actor, but you're also a director? So you've been behind the camera. You sort of think you know what the scene needs to look like, but you're an actor. So are you actually thinking directorially while you're acting?
Well, I should say that my acting career kind of came and went pretty quick. I liked it. I really found myself being on set and watching the camera guys and watching the directors.
Mhm.
So it was very clear early on to me that I needed to be directing. So I'd say about 5 or 6 years ago, I took a stab at directing.
Mhm.
I directed a short film and started a website and a YouTube channel like a lot of bronies have done, and it sort of skyrocketed. I got a great opportunity to work with CBC, which is Canadian version of BBC, and from there it went forth with the directing career, and I really stepped away from acting. I think I still I don't know if I'm in my actor shoes every time I'm directing, but I definitely feel sympathy for every subject who's in front of the camera, and I know what they're going through. So that's a good way of coming at it. I mean, a lot of writers who become directors, they see the writing, or a lot of editors who become directors, they know their cuts and they know their edits. And if you're an actor and you become a director, I think you see yourself in the actor's shoes quite a bit.
Oh, cool. You, now that you're a director, right? You can make any kind of film you want to, anything. But you've sort of been drawn to the documentary, specifically. Everything I'm looking at, it's like documentary this, documentary that. What is it about documentaries alone that really draws you in as a director?
I don't know what it is. I maybe even path of least resistance. I went for one and it worked, so I just kept doing them. But I also I think that there's just some really cool real stories out there. Bronies is a perfect example of how it came to be, and Ashley's kind of eyes. I know we'll be getting to the film, but I just think that I like real life a lot, and I like to I can always come up with a documentary idea really easily. It's harder for me to sit down and write a script, or it's harder for me to get through a full series. I haven't even seen Game of Thrones. That's how bad I am with the series, and I'm sure everyone's shocked. But for some reason, there's documentaries I've always just enjoyed them. I love Vice TV. I love watching docs online. Netflix has been a huge help for this because you can find a lot of different documentaries. So I like real stories.
Cool. One of my favorite documentaries is one called On Any Sunday, which is basically about motorcycling in the late 1960s, early 1970s, which actually won an Academy Award back 71, I believe. Wonderful documentary. Check it out. Also, one of the things I wanted to ask you, because we actually previewed the trailer at BronyCon, and we're going to see that a little later in the program. But you did go back and spell my name right?
I did.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just had to check that one. That's all. You don't want your name misspelled up in lights. One of the first documentaries that you did, and I can't make this up, folks. The name, the cockumentary.
Yes.
Was you going to South America and covering the cockfighting underground, as it were. Give us a bit of that story and how it maybe changed from your idea on when you got on the plane to go to South America to the end of the film.
Sure. I mean, this is this was so much fun. I went with one of my mentors. His name's Thomas Buchan. He's a great filmmaker. And we actually went to Mexico just for a trip. We were going to take some photos and just have a good time. And we kind of came across this whole underworld of cockfighting. And like I said, we're both into Vice, a lot of Vice documentaries. And we thought maybe we could pitch an idea to Vice. We'll just put together 2 or 3 minutes and we'll see what happens. And 10 days later, we had a full documentary. I don't know how it happened, but they really invited us in. This it's subculture. I wouldn't say they're similar to bronies in any way, but it's a subculture like bronies is a subculture. They have forums that they talk to each other online, and they have sort of underground meetups, and they really are kind of a family. And I found it really interesting. I'm still very unsure how I feel about cockfighting. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and I think maybe that was something that was lacking from the film that we missed out, is that we don't really have a definite answer on exactly how we feel. But you know what? For a first film, I was really happy with the way it turned out, and it was a lot of fun. I also realized I can go into situations where I don't know that much about them, and I can learn a lot, and that's okay to do even while you're filming. Sometimes I think documentary filmmakers they have to be experts in a field, and I don't know if that's actually true. Like, I'm not a brony expert in any regard. I just did a brony documentary, and in no way am I an expert in cockfighting, but I provided a way for you to see it in my eyes, and in the brony documentary, it's through Ashley's eyes, and I think it's entertainment. That's the main point.
Maybe that's what needs to happen in documentaries. Maybe you don't want to come in with an idea.
Yeah.
You want to come in and see it for what it is and tell the story of what it is without a preconceived notion.
Well, I think that's what's exciting about documentaries, is that there isn't exactly a template on how they're done. You know, if it's a horror film, there's usually 1 or 2 or 3 types of story templates. Usually consists of the bad guy losing, or it usually consists of the hot girl gets killed first. Usually it doesn't need to go that way in a documentary, especially because some people take 2 weeks to film a documentary, and some people take 10 years to film a documentary, and some people do it all with archive footage, and some people do it with hidden camera footage, and it's an interesting world, and I don't know if there actually is a template on how to do it right yet, which is exciting.
Cool. Speaking of getting footage, when you came, for others who want to shoot a scene or a short or even a small movie, you came to my house, last year, and with a fairly compact setup. I'm thinking, okay, this one guy, what's he going to be bringing? Tell the people a bit about your camera setup. When you, what do you really need to basically go out and start shooting footage? Quality stuff.
I mean, it's all sound. That's what people don't always take in is that there's a lot of great cameras out there now. You could buy a consumer camera, you know, even like a Canon Rebel or a 60D or a 7D or a 5D. These are cameras you can get in Best Buy, and they're not all that expensive. You get a nice lens and you're good to go. You can take a great photo and you can take some great video. What everybody forgets is that these are actually cameras. They're not video cameras, and there isn't great sound on them. So my thing coming from radio as well, it's where I worked in before I was in documentaries, is that I realized that sound is key. You can actually cut away to anything, and the saying is you'll watch anything. You'll watch something crappy as long as the sound is good, but you'll never watch something that looks good if the sound is crappy. You know, look at a horror film. Sometimes look at Blair Witch Project. It looked bad, but the sound was unbelievable. You know, the undertones and everything in that film was so well done. The soundscape was incredible, but the footage, it doesn't matter that it's a handy cam. But I think of, I don't think I would watch any film, any action film, if the sound was crappy. So sound is key, and I have a very minimal setup. I use like an H4n recorder, which a lot of guys use if they're playing bass guitar, they're in their garage and they just want to record themselves. I have a lav mic, which I use, which is like a little mic that hooks onto a t-shirt, and I usually use like a shotgun Rode mic. And then I sync it later with my footage. For this documentary, I used a Canon 5D, but I'm kind of switching into more of the 4K cameras, like a Red, and there's this Blackmagic camera coming out, which I'll be using very shortly. And so I'm sort of upping the game on my cameras as well, but it's all about lenses for cameras. If you can get yourself a good lens. I got really lucky when I was Thomas, this guy that did the documentary with me, he gave me a bunch of lenses, and I had some old ones from my dad as well. So lenses keep. If you can get a good lens, it's going to last for a long time. I'm big on lenses and sound are my two. And then there's lighting. Lighting's big. I'm a big natural light guy. I like to do stuff, and I think you can get away with it a lot in documentaries because a lot of it's depending on the location that you're at. So those are the ones I worry about the most. I have just this little softbox light that comes with me just in case, but I keep it very minimal. I also don't like big, huge cameras and big lights in your face. I think it takes away from the intimacy that you can get with someone. If you want to talk to them, when I came to your house, you barely even noticed the cameras there. We just talked and talked and talked, and
we did.
Eventually, we did. And eventually, with being patient with that, I'll get what I need, and I'll know what I need because I'll be doing a lot of the editing. So I usually do the primary edits as well, which is kind of part of my director package. Is I like to do I like to do the first edits, and then I like to get another editor in there and get his point of view. So that's sort of the way I go about it. Bigger productions, they need more people. You need a sound guy, you need a DOP, a director of photography, you need a camera guy, you need a lighting guy. You need to start to add people to the puzzle because you can't focus on all those things on a big shoot. But with a documentary, I really wanted this to be a one camera POV style of documentary. I wanted it to be intimate moments with Ashley. I wanted it to be intimate moments with Bronies. I knew exactly how I wanted it to look. I was okay if it was a little more raw than some of the stuff I've done for TV networks. And I think successfully we did that. It was good.
Cool. Now, what we're here for is, of course, this movie. So I have the trailer queued up. So we're going to see the trailer. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Brony, the documentary. So hang loose, people, and we'll be right back.
You ain't a man unless you're watching My Little Pony, son.
I'm Ashley Ball, and I am the voice actor in Vancouver. I do the voices of Applejack and Rainbow Dash on the new My Little Pony series.
I happen to be the fastest Pegasus in the sky. It's because I'm awesome.
I've just been invited to go to the 2012 BronyCon in New York City.
The pervert alarm for sure went off in my head when I first heard about it.
Bronies are these young adults. They're looking for connections with other people, they need to find something to sort of give them meaning.
So this is definitely blowing me away.
Forget you. I can eat all these apples.
I am a Brony. I am a Brony.
All they are people who like a cartoon show. That's it.
I've tried myself to figure out why I love the show so much, and honestly, I can't come up with a good answer.
Not about My Little Pony, it's about friendship is magic.
What is that, a puppy, a kitten? And like one guy in the back goes, it's a pony. And I said, I want that guy to do my tattoo.
It's a really important part of a lot of these people's lives. So yeah, as long as like My Little Ponies exist, there will be bronies.
And we're back, and that is the trailer for Brony the documentary. And so we're back with Brent. And so, what do you guys think? I think it's kind of cool. Of course, Brent came and spent a whole day with me almost a year ago now, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
yep.
It has been that long. And we went and did a bunch of stuff, and we had a really nice interview in my front room, and I thought from what I saw at BronyCon, I think it's going to be an awesome little movie. So other than myself, who else did you go see? I know we saw Jax Blade and Silverhound in that trailer. Who else did you go see, and did they surprise you as to who they were after you went and visited them?
I think every Brony surprised me after I visited them, but you know, in terms of the amount of people I saw, not everybody got into the doc, sadly, but I wanted to get an array of Bronies. I wanted to get an array of age, type, gender, groups. I wanted a high school group. I wanted a university group. I wanted a group that meets, I wanted Los Angeles. I wanted New York. I really wanted to I sadly didn't go international. That was something I really wanted to do, but I mean, costs are costs.
Costs are costs.
But I got so many Bronies. I met so many interesting people. Some by mistake too. Like I found there was a Brony in Halifax, and I saw him on the street, and he had a My Little Pony shirt on, and I just walked up to him and spent the day with him. I had my camera right on me.
Wow.
Just like the amount of times that this sort of fell into my hands, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to press record and just show up. But I should explain how the process kind of worked for me. I went on a little bit of a Brony tour, I like to call it, where I went around and found people. But majority of the time, I tried to hook this into other work I was doing. So if I was getting sent somewhere to do a directing job for an ad agency or for a company, I would find out, okay, I got to go to San Francisco for a week. Who's in San Francisco or near San Francisco that I could find that's a Brony? And I could interview them and talk to them. Maybe they're interesting. Maybe they would like to talk. And Mike Bernstein, who runs this beautiful network of yours, he is a major help. He was a guy who connected me to anyone and everyone I wanted. I would say, I'm near San Francisco. Anybody around here? And he goes, well, there's this one Brony. He's got a handlebar mustache. He likes motorcycles, plays bass guitar. He's really outgoing. You might want to talk to him. I said, well, is there anyone else? I guess I'll talk to that guy.
Okay,
yeah. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and a lot of them just, it might not seem that interesting because the fandom's so used to it, but when you hear that there's a 19-year-old DJ who travels around and plays pony music, that's really, and he lives in Atlanta, and he's down to meet up. His name's Silverhound. That is like a filmmaker's dream right there. Honestly, this is, and I got this in with the subculture because everybody's fans of Ashley, and everybody's so open to just friendship and being nice.
Speaking of Ashley, the whole thing started with the first big BronyCon in New York. What was it like for you? Okay, yeah, Ashley's going. She asks you to come and film it, but as a person, as Mr. Brent Hodge, when you went to BronyCon, okay, how did it affect you as a person? Being there, and what did you take away when you left?
Well, I really found it was like I'd been to a fan expo in Vancouver before, and so I had seen something similar. Like I'd seen cosplay dress-ups and costumes, but this was a whole other level, and I didn't take any of it in until after, because I was just recording the entire time, dumping footage. I was so blown away on this response to Ashley, the amount of people that were a fan of her character and a fan of her show and wanted to hear her do impressions. And it was so overwhelming for me that I didn't even take it in until after. I didn't even really think I had a documentary at that point. I thought this just could be like a cool 5-minute piece. And so my entire mind kind of, I didn't even realize how big the fandom was. And at that time, it wasn't even that big.
Right.
So I basically had to try to finish up a lot of work that I was doing so that I could get this doc on the go, because I was pretty much booked. I was full on booked.
Okay.
The con itself, it was something else. Like that was a really neat experience. As you can see in that trailer, even just like Ashley doing that impression and everybody going crazy.
Yep.
So I just needed to make sure I captured as much as I could that day.
Yeah, it was kind of, I didn't get to go to that one. That one was before, I could get to travel, but everybody says it was a wonderful show. So now the movie is done, right?
Yes.
Movie's done. Well, now that you fixed my name. But what are the next steps for this movie? You told me you're trying to send it out to film festivals, but where does it go from here? So it's really interesting. When you make a documentary, making it is probably the easiest part. Getting people to see it is actually the hardest part. And there's a whole other world of distribution. Once you're finished, it goes to sale agents, and sale agents try to get it to festivals, and festivals attempt to have a theater run with it, which then gets TV broadcast, which then would trickle down the line to get an online broadcast eventually where everyone probably watches it. So, I can say this live, I don't care. The system I think is pretty archaic, but it's slowly changing, with different ways of seeing things online and getting premieres online. But where it stands with this is that I really want to do a theater run, and I really want to do a festival run. I think it deserves it as a film. As a filmmaker, it's something I've never done. I've always put my shows right to TV, and mainly to Canadian TV. And so I'm really excited. I think this is an international subject, and there's enough pull internationally, especially Bronies alone, plus just people that are interested in the fandom to come see it. So I signed with a great sale agent. They're called The Works. It's all public now, so I can say this. They did a couple major documentaries. One was The Cove. One was Man on Wire. These are Academy Award-winning documentaries. So for me to sign with that company was it's a huge honor, and it's huge. And we have a game plan, and the game plan sadly requires some patience on my part, because I'm done the film. I want to get it out, but I have to be patient. And one of the biggest step, I guess the next step is the winter festival run. So we're applying for winter festivals, which just means that they start in January and they go, and there's quite a few of them, all across the board. There's right from Sundance to Berlin to Edinburgh to Amsterdam to Vancouver to Calgary Underground. You name them, all across Canada, all across the States, and Europe as well. Hopefully going international. That's something that we want to do. So these guys are not only a Canadian and American sale agent, they're also an international sale agent for me. So I think the sky's the limits with this doc, and I'm in good hands. Sadly, we did this BronyCon announcement. I don't have an exact release date, which is tough, but it's feeling good. Yeah. That was my next question, when we were going to get to see it, but it looks like it's going to be at least 6 months from now.
6 is probably pushing it. I would say 3 or 4. We're in September now. I'll know for sure. Sort of December starts to roll around. You get to know the time frames of these things. They tell you in advance. That being said, I got this mailing list going. If you go to bronythemovie.com, or if you're on my Facebook page, I'm going to be releasing a lot of clips. I'm going to be releasing some exclusive clips to Bronies and to people who sign up for the list. So
there you go.
That's stuff that I'm going to definitely keep you guys all in the loop, and you and your show especially, because I want to release some that are exclusive to Everfree, and so that's that. I've working that permission out with the sale agents, and it seems to be all good.
Cool.
So we're anticipating something, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. That'd be great. And I know that you're such a busy guy, and you've done this wonderful documentary on us and the show and Ashley, but have you actually seen the show? Have you sat down and watched an episode of My Little Pony?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Which one?
I watched a lot of them, especially after we chatted.
Yes.
After we chatted, you were the first Brony I actually ever interviewed, and I didn't know anything about the show. I mean, you could probably tell the viewers more about our hilarious interaction, but
get this, folks. I'm sitting in this chair, right? The camera's right over there, and there's Brent, and he's got everything set up, and we're going. He's asking me questions, and every time I'm like give an answer, his eyes just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and his pupils get bigger and bigger. Really? What? That really? And then we get 15 or 20 minutes into the interview, and he goes, "Dusty, wait." I said, "What?" I forgot to turn on the microphone.
Did I do that?
Yes. So we had to do the whole thing again. But that just means I knew my answers. So, but it was really funny because we sat here for like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something. I don't even remember. But every time I was answering the questions, you could just see the light behind his eyes just like light up. It's like, really? It's that? Really? Is that good? Really? Yes, you need to go watch some freaking ponies. Go do it. So.
Well, and the show itself, I mean, it's some of the titles are, they draw you in even before you want it. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the ones, like Call of the Cutie and like Apple Buck Season. These are such great names.
Yeah.
It's so hard to come up with a name for a show. I can't tell you how many times I've sat around, even with ad agencies, trying to come up with a name for the YouTube video that we're putting out, or a name for a pitch for a reality show or a TV series or something. And it's the hardest thing, and they just nailed some of these. Like, they're so funny.
The name is like the hook in a rock song. If you don't have the hook, you don't have a song. Yeah. So it's kind of hard. Also, before we go to commercial, favorite pony?
Oh, this was a question that came up actually at the BronyCon, the panel that we did.
Yes. And
it's by far for me Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash.
And I can give you a few reasons. Yes. Not all. Maybe some of the reasons are a bit esoteric, but that's okay. I think blue's a favorite color of mine. It's my company logo. It's my company everything, and I just feel that there's something about the way I got a chance to film Ashley, and this is in the documentary. I got a chance to film her doing her 2 scripts from both Applejack and Rainbow Dash, and I the first edit I did, I almost only had, I think, a quick sentence from Applejack, and then the rest was all Rainbow Dash. And so, I don't know what it is exactly about Rainbow Dash that I like so much, but it's my favorite pony.
Yep. See, Carradorn's not going to like you now because I'm Rainbow Dash and he's all Applejack. Applejack all the time. So it's like.
And I mean, there's nothing against the other characters, but I'm definitely drawn towards Ashley's 2 characters. Of course, she's a friend of mine.
Absolutely,
I know her voice, and I know what she puts into these things, and the backstory behind a lot of it, and so it's kind of exciting.
Right. So cool. We are at commercial time, and hey, you guys, Princess Celestia came up to me a couple weeks ago and said, "Dusty, there's not enough educational entertainment on your show." There just isn't. So, you know what? She said, you need to do something for Golden Oaks Library. You're right. Princess Celestia, I had to do something. So here it is, the brand new commercial for Golden Oaks Library. So you guys sit back and enjoy. We'll be right back.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Do your friends make fun of you because you can't spell the word dog? Does your pyromaniac little sister use your books as kindling? Are your fanfics infested with Draconequus? Boy, do we have the solution for you. Oh, yes, we do. Come visit Ponyville's own Golden Oaks Library, where your head archivist is our very own Princess Twilight Sparkle. Drop in, check us out, get lost in a book. If Rainbow Dash can do it, so can you! Please remember to reshelve all books in the proper Dewey Decimal System location. No gum-chewing, dubstep, mad science, exploding ponies, or party cannons allowed. Those on holidays, winter wrap-up, and whenever Equestria is doomed. Don't text and drive.
Yes, EBS, the Equestrian Broadcasting Service, for all your educational needs all across Equestria. And I think we'll be doing some more with Golden Oaks Library, because Twilight is like all over me. She saw that. She saw the preview of that. She's, that is so awesome. I need more. It's like, you're a princess. You can tell me to do whatever you want. So there you go. And hey, we are now back. We are going to talk about the conventions coming up, convention time. So, conventions coming up. Sac Brony Expo in Sacramento, California. That's the one day, September 14th, that I myself will attend. Also with Apple Cider of Bronyville podcast, where he and I will be doing a live episode of Bronyville. So don't miss it. It's going to be cool. Go to expo.sacbrony.com for more info on that one. Canterlot Convention in Toronto, Ontario, November 16th and 17th. That is in Toronto, of course. I've lost my place. I can't read today. I'm telling you. But Rena Chan's going to be there. Hot Diggity Demon's going to be there. Jesse Nowak's going to be there. DJ Midley, Beam Pegasus 5, and myself. And that's going to be awesome. Also, tickets go on sale tonight for the first time. So that is canterlot.ticketbud.com/Canterlot2013. So check that out if you want tickets to go there. Brony Fanfare, September 13th through 15th, Austin, Texas. That has Matt Hill, who plays Soren, and Sam Vincent, who plays Flem, but they're also two of the Eds from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. And they'll be there. Check BronyFanfare.com for details on that one. And then other ones coming up again this year. DerpyCon South in New Orleans, October 4th through 6th. Anelie Heed will be making her first U.S. appearance there. Brony Days Paris, France, October 26th, 27th. Running of the Leaves in Denver, Colorado, October 31st through November 3rd. And Nightmare Nights in Dallas, Texas, November 8th to 10th. Lots of stuff still coming up this year. Get out there and have some fun at conventions. So, charity time. Last show, we did Children's Hospital of British Columbia for BronyCan. That was their charity. We raised $620. So we busted that $500 mark. Again, you guys are awesome. So we are going to not only give away these two books signed by GM Barrow, but also this Trixie made for you by a Taco Squirrel. So I have a hat full of names right here. And we're going to dig in a hat full of names. This one. Who is it this time? Where's the name? His name's on here somewhere. Buster Neese, you are the lucky winner this week. I will contact you after the show, and we'll get you your swag. So, out of names. Put my hat on my head, and we're going to talk to Brent. Brent.
Hey.
Hey. You have a charity of your own, do you not?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Sure. So I'm from Canada. Any bronies out there who are tuning in from Canada represent? I know there was a BronyCan this last weekend, and that was really neat.
Absolutely.
So ALS Society of Canada, known in the States as Lou Gehrig's disease. I got the opportunity last year to do a documentary with an artist named Catherine Calder. She's a musician. She's in a band called the New Pornographers, and her life story is crazy. It is a seriously a TV made movie. This woman, her mother was adopted and found her birth parents, and her birth brother invited Catherine into this band called the New Pornographers, and they toured around the world. And her mother eventually got ALS, and so Catherine had to go home and take care of her mother and stop in the band for a while. So she ended up recording her solo album while taking care of her mother during her last dying days. Oof. And just put out her third solo album just recently. So we did this documentary, and proceeds are going to the ALS Society of Canada, and very nice of you, Dusty, to have me on the show and allow us to focus on that society as well this time around, which is great.
Absolutely. Lou Gehrig's disease is some pretty nasty, nasty stuff because it takes away your body without taking away your mind.
Yeah, it's terrible.
One of the very famous ALS sufferers is Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
The physicist. He is an ALS sufferer. Brilliant man, but absolutely unable to move anything on his body.
I think he's the lastest. He's lasted the longest as well. It's usually quite fatal, and it was an incredible documentary. I learned a lot about the disease as well, and it's something that I'm an advocate and I really want to focus on for the rest of my life to make sure that it's something that makes sure it has its funding, and so this documentary is called A Matter of Time, and it raised a lot of money through Kickstarter and is doing quite well. And so that should be also going to festivals pretty soon as well in the next sort of year.
Okay, and for that, you go to manliestbrony.com and register at that website if you haven't already. Click on the little box that'll take you to Canada Gives, and you give your $5 or more, and you will be in the giveaway for these wonderful prizes over here. So we have another signed book by GM Barrow right here, Pinkie Pie, and a generous gold card Twilight. Now, this isn't the special card, but this is a gold card from the second set, which was given to us by Pink Pearl Apple. Thank you very much. And that will be going to you as the original prizes. Now, if we crack $500 this time, who remembers Spike Firemane? Everybody remembers Spike Firemane. He's a wonderful, wonderful gentleman who makes all those really great carvings. So he comes up to me at BronyCon, and he says, Dusty, could you use this? I think I could. This is a signed fashion style Rainbow Dash by Ashley Ball. $500, and this is in the mix. So I wish I could keep that myself because I don't even have this, much less signed by Ashley Ball. So that is up for the $500. And that is charity work for this show. And now we need to find Screwball. Screwy? Screwy.
Yes.
Hey, what? Screwball, your voice has changed.
It's not nearly as Canadian as
It's not nearly as Canadian as it was.
There were people in the chat saying that I should be doing a Screwball impression.
Yeah, you probably should.
I probably... I don't know.
So everybody, you know that Screwball, our buddy Screwball, went to BronyCon over the weekend, and he's now on a plane home to Alberta at this very moment. So he's not with us tonight. So we got Final Draft to come out of retirement and help us out tonight.
Retirement?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, remember, you were the very first one who helped me on the show in episode 1.
I did, didn't I?
You did. So,
the Lost episode, which
the
we
Lost
found.
episode. Actually, I
little
have...
known fact, we found it.
Yes, little known
Dusty
fact.
won't let us post it.
No, we won't. Not posting
So if you guys want Dusty's first episode posted, you know, you should let him know. But anyway, I'm not torturing the poor man.
Yes.
No, what's interesting is that he asked me to do this, and then I realized, wait, this is the same night that we're that you were going to have Brent on, and of course, Brent mentioned this briefly. I was working for a very long time with Brent to find people for the documentary, so I'm so glad we can actually talk about it.
I thought that was a nice segue right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Yes. That was awesome.
It was a really hard thing not to talk about, let me tell you guys, because I had seen like the rough cuts or whatever, and
And on top of that, Brent showed Final Draft the cuts that he was using from the day he was with me, and he wouldn't show them with me. Brent wouldn't give him the permission to show them to me. I was hurt. I couldn't even see
You don't need to be hurt about that. You know,
I've seen them now, so it's no big deal. But
it was just a matter of timing.
Hey, Draft.
Yes.
I'm sure that the chatty box has been just peppering you with questions.
They've been trying. I've got a few actually, and it's funny for me when I'm reading these questions in this particular case because it's like, oh yeah, I know this one. But all right, I'm gonna read it. First one's from Gavin Japp.
Gavin.
This question is actually this is for both me and you, Dusty. Which is, how did we feel when we saw Screwball in the news? Because he was on CBC.
He was on the CBC.
I laughed.
It was a bit funny, actually. It was awesome. I'm going, I know that guy. He's cool. Yeah. It was pretty awesome because I'm sure that the CBC grabbed him because everybody knows that what Screwball looks like. He looks a little geeky. He's a little short. He wears a Canadian cape everywhere. So
you know why he wasn't wearing the hat though? Because everybody thought he was cosplaying as Buttons from Buttons Adventures.
Jeez. But anyway, I'm sure the CBC grabbed him going, oh, well, here's a mark. He must not be really cool. But Screwball is one of the smartest guys I know.
Yeah.
He's got a very level head on his shoulders, and he knows how to talk. He's a very, very smart man. So, yeah, I'm sure CBCs were like, okay.
They may have walked into the room and thought, which of these poor saps is the most Canadian looking? And they saw
the guy with a cape. Yeah.
The guy with the cape.
That's about as Canadian as you get.
I might even back CBC here because I did work for them for 4 years. They probably walked in that room and thought, who could tell us the most about this fandom?
Yeah.
And they probably wanted it more genuine, but they may have seen all those other things as well. But CBC's got they're good. I like that Canadian network. I'm gonna rep them.
Okay.
I did think it was funny on the report they did though from the convention. They used only footage from like G1 stuff. Yeah. But whatever, it wasn't.
Get your facts straight. At least show the show that's going on right now that everybody
loves.
It
wasn't negative. CBC tends to be pretty good for stuff like that. So, all right. Next question is, let's see here. Oh yeah, this is an interesting question. This is, I think this is worth talking about.
What?
It's from Tsunami. Tsunami, who I believe is waving. Bah. I had to. I'm sorry. Is asking, why didn't you go for a Kickstarter, Brent? Why didn't you try to raise some funds to do this?
That's a really great question. I don't want this to come back because I don't want this to come back to me as if it's a bad thing, because I have been involved with a lot of documentaries that do raise money on Kickstarter, but I personally haven't done it for any of my productions. And it's not that I don't believe in it, because I think if it's in the right context, it works. I think Kickstarter is a really good thing, and it's gotten a lot of people off the ground. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make this documentary, and I didn't want it to be biased to anybody, and I didn't want to even have a schedule with it. I had, like I said, I had a lot of things I was wrapping up, and I really wanted to be patient, and I wanted to explore it. And I didn't want any clauses involved with the doc. I didn't want to owe 100,000 copies to Bronies. I didn't want to owe a bunch of T-shirts to people who helped. I just wanted to make a documentary that was with me and my camera and what I saw, no matter what that was. And you know what? If I saw the fandom in a bad light, I was going to show that. And if I saw the fandom in a really good light, I was going to show that too. And I mean, lucky for everyone, I saw this fandom in an extremely great light. And, guys like Mike and Dusty and these people really helped me out and showed me nothing but friendship and support. So, I'm just showcasing what I saw. And I felt that if I did this and I raised money from the Bronies and I raised money from people who would want to watch this, then I'd have to give them something that they wanted. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why I didn't go with it. And that's it. I'm not going to say anything bad about Kickstarter because I think they're doing really good things. I think it's changing a lot too. You're seeing a lot of directors who don't need to use Kickstarter who are using them now, which I don't know if I totally agree with that.
Don't agree with that.
But I think there's going to be a total shift in crowdsourcing here right away. And I guess I was just never wanting to get on it when it was at its 1.0 stage. Mm-hmm. As it progresses, I'd love to put my next documentaries online and straight online for viewers. I like this. I like the idea. There's a lot of companies like RealHouse.com is doing some great stuff. Vimeo's doing a sort of a money share thing now, and it's a great way for people to artistically get things out there. But I also feel that the film industry is a lot about smoke and mirrors and illusions. Mm-hmm. And when somebody knows your whole budget to a film, what you've raised, sometimes you can't disguise things. And you can't, and not that you need to trick people and disguise them, but it's all about production value. It doesn't matter if it costs you $100 or $1. If you can show me that thing looks like it cost $1 million, then you've won. And I don't really care if it costs you no money. So sometimes when you get a budget and you think, wow, did that actually just cost $100? We just raised that much money on Kickstarter and that's all we're getting, it's an illusion. So nobody knows my budget on my documentary, but I guarantee you the value and what it looks like is much more than what I spent on it.
I should say too, I mean, like, I've seen some rough cuts, and like the cinematography is brilliant. I mean, you guys saw the trailer out there. It looks really good. I think actually this is another question I got from a couple people, so I should ask it now. Which is, and I think they're going off of the model of what the BronyCon doc did. They're asking whether or not you're going to be putting this thing up for sale online, and I don't think that was the approach you were planning on going with.
You know, it's as much for me to get it out to bronies as it is to get it out to people who don't know anything about My Little Pony or anything about bronies. So I'm going to go the avenue that I think is going to get that out to people. It's going to go online eventually. I know it will. That's just the way the world works now, and that's awesome. I really want to do a theater run with it. I would love and dream for it to go into certain festivals that I've always, as a filmmaker, dreamed of being in. And you know, I want it to go international. I want it to have international sales. I want it to, you know, it's really exciting as a filmmaker to have something on TV. Like Mike Bernstein, you can finally he's out right here. You can ask him. He came to one of my screenings that we did for TV in Vancouver, and it's a really exciting thing. It's an event. I think that the theater itself, it's not dead. The theater's not dead. Just because there's online, just because you can watch YouTube, the theater experience is incredible. And I really want to set this up. And you know, if it's the way I have this plan laid out, I anticipate this to go to theaters. And you know, I want to have it so that if you come in a Brony T-shirt, it's it's $10, and if you come in a Brony costume, it's $8. And if you come without, you know, if you just come in normal clothes, well, you're paying $15. And I want it to be just like these conventions that I keep getting the chance to go to. You know, like they're magical. They're so much fun, and they're an event. They're an event that allow people to come together and see something. So I think the theater experience is very much alive still, and I really want that to happen.
Well, and that was something, you know, we've talked about too, because it definitely it's. I think this is one of those films that belongs in a theater run if possible. But I think I think the important thing here is that it's not being done necessarily the same way people are used to, where it's going to be sold directly. That you're taking it to the theaters, you're taking it to the film festivals.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like there's a plan layout for it, but I think it will be available online. And I know a lot of people are asking about DVD and Blu-ray, and I'll make sure that you can watch this the way you want to watch this. That's the best way of putting it. You know, if there's enough demand for that, then yeah, we'll make it happen.
Cool. Well, and yeah, the event that he was talking about earlier was, I think it was your premiere of the Dan Mangan doc.
Yeah.
And that ended up on CBC, like that aired on TV, didn't it?
Aired 6 times nationally. Yeah, it did very well.
Nice.
It was a really good doc. Dan Mangan's a great musician too. But anyway, all right, let's see here. Next question. This is from Dubstep Plea. I'm reading it right, I think. Were you studying at a film school? So I guess, did you go to film school to learn your trade?
I didn't. This is all self-taught, my friend. I call it the Tom Cruise School of Film, and it's that you just surround yourself with really incredible people. Tom Cruise always makes sure that when he produces a film, he surrounds himself with extremely good actors and extremely good directors and producers, and that's why he always looks good. And so I've just learned a lot working with really good people, and I'm just lucky that I've been able to find these talented people really quickly. You know, the guys that I work with now are all younger than me. My DOP, my camera guy, and my sound guy are all younger, and I think I've learned more from them by just being around them than any film school could ever teach me.
Yeah, I learned way more working in motorcycle shops than I ever learned at Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. So it's once you get out there and you throw yourself in the deep end of the pool, it's either sink or swim.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of true of a lot of technical type professions. You know, it's more you have to have your hands on the situation.
And you have to do it, and you have to do it, and you have to do it a lot. It doesn't just happen instantly. Like, it's been a good 6-7 years that I finally am feeling comfortable with all of this. And I would never, ever say that I'm even close to being an expert at this. I'm still new in my eyes. But, you know, it's taken a long time. Putting yourself in a lot of different situations and learning how to film them.
Yep. All right. Dusty, quick question from Reldan. What type of cider are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Woodchuck Green Apple.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I should make a quick comment on that. When I came and did the interview with Dusty at his house, he drank a fair amount of cider the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably why I sound like I know what I'm doing. I wasn't nervous.
Well, we went to, what is it? So, yeah, a couple people have asked me this now. Yeah, I did do a quick film session with Brent as well. Because he had me there to, oh yeah, there's a picture of Brent on screen with Dan Mangan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He came to Minnesota because it was interesting. The way I first met Brent was Ashley sent him to me because he was hunting for a few of the bronies he had met at BronyCon in 2012, in January 2012. And one of the pictures he sent me was this guy I know named Brian, who is another local brony. He's like, do you have any idea who this is? I'm like, yeah, this is Brian. I'm Facebook friends with him. So he came out to Minnesota to interview Brian, and then also did a quick thing to interview me. But Dusty, what you were talking about earlier, where you can see like the lights behind his eyes or whatever, like yeah, definitely the way it worked. He had to stand around a pool table and would ask these questions, and suddenly he just brighten up and then move to another part of the table, take a different picture. You know, it was kind of exciting. So anyway, yes. All right.
Well, Mike, you were the first guy that told me what 4chan was. I had no idea what that even was.
Well, the question in context was, where did the fandom come from? And so I explained that it had started off as, you know, an ironic joke on 4chan, and explained what that was. And yeah, it's an interesting site. It has its ups and downs, but I guess a lot of sites do. Okay, so I'm now looking through a couple other questions here. Yeah, a lot of questions coming in now. Go ahead.
I was going to say, quick side note, Dusty, how do I get a copy, or how do I get that Hey Ocean poster you have in the back?
You don't.
I want... Okay.
Because that's signed.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
That's
great.
They did a concert in this house where I'm sitting.
Cool.
Yes. So when they were here, we printed that on a friend's big 48-inch wide printer and had them sign it. So
they're such a great band.
Yeah,
such great guys.
They were so awesome when they came here. Oh my goodness. We sat them down on the table. Me and my friends had already eaten. So Carradine basically went over there and made them his wonderful fajita recipe and sat all of them at the table. And they said, "Well, do you want us to plate? No, eat." So we basically made them food and let them relax and all of that. And it's something you don't get on the road, obviously. So they were so happy to just sit down and relax and eat, and they played like 3 or 4 extra songs while they were here before they had to split. They had to be in Oregon that night. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually that's a good segue to the question I was trying to find, which is from DJ Midley. He asks, did you film Ashley Ball during any of her Hey Ocean tour, or in his case, he's asking particularly about any Ontario stops they might have made?
We did, actually. We went. It was during the Toronto Film Festival. They played a show at the, what was it called? It wasn't Lee's. There's another place in Toronto, and they played, and they opened for Dan Mangan was playing that night, and another Canadian band called Yukon Blonde, and Hey Ocean played a set there as well. And MTV was filming it for them, and I also got to tag in and do some camera work. So, and I interviewed the 2 boys as well, Dave and Dave. And I've been to so many Hey Ocean concerts. I've been very lucky. I've seen them start at Richards on Richards in Vancouver, you know, having a CD release party when they were very early on, and you know, grow to being able to play and sell out to Vogue, which is a huge theater in Vancouver. So I've watched that band grow and just become such professionals. And so the back to the question, that was a Toronto show that I got to film them at, and I also filmed them in a Whistler show as well.
They're amazing. Like they played at Fiesta Equestria. That was awesome. And I've seen them in concert several times. They're awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I think the follow-up question there is whether or not Hey Ocean is in the documentary, like the band, and they are.
Yep. So
they
have a section. I would say they're a huge part of it. But I really wanted to get at Ashley's life. We hang out with some of Ashley's friends at home. We go to Salt Spring Island, one of her, relaxation getaways that she likes to do. And one of the things I wanted to include was that she has this other life, which is her band. It's not just her voiceover career.
Mm-hmm.
That's her day job, and then sort of by night she's a musician. So that's an important part of her life. As much as this is a documentary about meeting bronies and going to BronyCon, it's very much about Ashley and her voiceover career too, and her life.
And it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes, very much so. Okay, Barry Punch has a deep question. Question for Brent. From conception to completion of the documentary, in what ways have your views of the Brony fandom evolved?
I think it's just been normalized for me. I didn't see it as being all that weird when I first saw it. I was definitely shocked at how big it was, and like Dusty asked before, what was your initial reaction to that BronyCon? I just was trying to film everything, and I think there was some points in the editing process where I just thought, I can't believe I have this footage. I have this incredible subculture, and I got invited in, and this is nuts. So, has it evolved? It's just become, I've just met really cool individuals from a guy like Mando Pony. What a genuine human being. Jack Blades to Silva to Dusty to these guys, and I just sort of I recognize it and I get it now. One of the questions that came up at BronyCon was, "Are you a brony?" And I can't say I'm a brony because I don't go on the forums, I don't watch the shows, I don't go to the conventions, and unless it probably has something to do with this documentary. Do I hate the show? Not at all. Do I hate the fandom? Absolutely not at all. And I just think that I've learned I get it and I like it. It's cool. No, I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm a huge Oilers fan. I go on Oilers forums. I go to Oilers games whenever I'm in Edmonton. I've been an Oilers fan my whole life, and I see a lot of similarities.
It was really dangerous in Vancouver.
It is dangerous. Canucks. Well, Canucks are never gonna get past second round. But anyway, I found it really interesting being at the Brony convention in Baltimore, because there was an Orioles game happening right beside the convention center, and you saw all these guys having tailgate parties and being all orange. And I remember thinking it really isn't that all that different from what I'm seeing inside the convention to who I am out. So it's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that there were several thousand Orioles fans. They were all piling into the stadium. There were a couple hundred bronies milling around out front of the Baltimore Convention Center, and that's what draws Fox News and the rest of the group.
Yeah.
That interests them. The thousands of sports fans don't. But anyhow, okay. Let's see here. Oh, Gavin Japp says that Dusty, you should give the Lost episode out as a charity prize.
The thing is, the charity prizes are supposed to be good.
It wasn't that bad, man.
Horrible.
It wasn't.
I rewatched that thing. It was horrible.
You know what? You are your own worst critic. Seriously.
It's not as polished as it is today. I'll tell you that.
No, but that it's raw. It's real, man. It's like
real,
lowly beginnings, right?
I'll think about it. Maybe you know what? Maybe when I hit 10,000 Twitter followers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I hit 7 yesterday, so
nice.
Yeah, not so far.
So at 10,000,
at 10,000 Twitter followers, I will release the Lost episode.
All right, you heard that, people. Get the word out there so that wasn't it D Notive that was your guess?
Yeah, it was D Notive.
Yeah. So yeah, let D Notive know and get the word out there. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. This is from Imperius, which is a solid Latin name. Question for all. As an adult fan of Friendship is Magic, what are your thoughts when people say that it's a show just for kids? On several occasions, the show has proven this otherwise. I don't know. I think you kind of answered your own question there, didn't you?
Yeah, I think you did. I when people give me that, I go, "You're uninformed. Have you seen the show? No. Then how do you have an opinion? You have an opinion formed by the masses that you've seen on TV or through your friends. You have not made an informed decision for yourself because you have not watched the show. So I don't need to listen to you."
You know what I say though when I get this, like a lot of times, especially at conventions, and Dusty, I'm sure you've gotten this once or twice too, where like the middle-aged couple will walk up to you and they're in the hotel lobby. They're like, "What's with all these?"
For how many years have I gotten that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When they ask me, they say, and then I say, "Well, these are fans of My Little Pony." My response always, when they kind of look weird, is say, "Well, the show is targeted towards children. I mean, that's explicitly stated.
Absolutely.
But at the same rate, I mean, I've asked them, and I say, well, what do you think of the movie Aladdin? Or, Beauty and the Beast or whatever." And they're like, "Oh, we love those, Yeah. Well, those Disney movies were also targeted towards children, but they have a broader appeal, and it's the same sort of thing. That's the way I
pretty much.
But anyway, Parasol asks, and I think this is more targeted towards you, Brent. When did you first hear about the show?
Well, I first heard, I guess it would have been December 2011. I was in Vancouver, and I was at this dinner, and Ashley was there. And we'd been friends for years, and she said to me that she was getting these emails from these guys because she'd booked My Little Pony. So that was the first time I ever heard of a Brony. And actually, right there and then, I looked it up on my phone just to sort of see. And there was, I think it was like it must have been a Stephen Colbert thing. There was something, I remember it coming up instantly on YouTube. So that was the first thing I saw. And then sort of, as soon as I thought, Stephen Colbert's on this must be something hot.
Huge.
Yeah. And so I started to just look around, and I think I found myself on Pony Chan really quickly. Like I just somehow got there, and then I instantly got it. And there was a Wired magazine article that had come out as well.
Yep.
And then I went to Hawaii with my family for Christmas, and I was researching it like crazy, and I was starting to really get into it. And then I kept talking to Ashley back and forth, and we'd really talked about, let's start filming this. And then she told me, the second you get home, I got something to show you. And it was an email that was an invite to BronyCon. So we started filming right then and there.
Sweet.
And that's actually a good follow-up question. A couple of people have asked why it is that the documentary is focused on Ashley. It's because you've known Ashley for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's it. There's I didn't go for any writers. I didn't go for anybody at Hasbro or I wanted this all to be Ashley's point of view. It was going to be set up as, okay, if this Brony thing doesn't work out and it just fizzles away, I'll just do a documentary on Ashley's cool career.
Yep.
She's got some great characters. She's a Care Bear, and I know she's booked some other big ones. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell exactly what they are yet, but some huge shows, huge things are coming down Ashley's pipes. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get another question here. Oh yeah, okay. Violent Bray asks, Dusty, two things. One, Violent Bray noticed that you cleaned your mantle a bit. What happened to your cheerily thing? Apparently there's a cheerily thing that was on your mantle.
Over here.
Oh. And then also, who made the Dusty plushie?
That was White Dove Creations made the Dusty plushie and gave it to me at BronyCon. Here is Cheerily right here.
Oh, White Dove was there? I didn't
Yes,
see.
White Dove was there. Yes. So here's Cheerily. I had to clean up a little bit because it was looking a little bit overdone, So we need to we had to class it up a little bit. We had to clean up a little bit. So
it up a little bit.
We're gonna rotate. We're gonna rotate the inventory, like for show. So keep looking because I'm gonna rotate the inventory, and maybe, just maybe, I'll put something out there and go, okay, whoever catches where this was will get a prize. Or something like that. I haven't figured out exactly yet, but we're gonna move some stuff around a little bit and sort of class up the joint. So, yeah, she's right there, and here's Dusty, Overhaul. Excuse me, here's Overhaul with his tattoo, and she made this for me and gave it to me at BronyCon, and about made me cry because it is awesome.
I did not know she was there.
Yes, she was.
Everybody was there. Brent was there, and I tried to take him through the artist alley, and it just. Yeah, everybody was there, so it was just constantly getting stopped.
Oh yeah. I only spent like about 3 minutes with Brenda. I mean, I saw her walking through the dealer's room, and we spent like 3 minutes saying hello, and that was it.
I dragged Brenda over to Fetch Beer because that had to happen. But yeah, no, I saw Kathy, for example, on the panel at the VA panel on Friday, and then I saw her in the signing room, and she's like, "There's never any time in these things, Mike, is there?" I'm like, "No, there's not." And that was the last I saw her. Okay, so where did it go? Okay, question for Brent.
Yes,
Brent, what were some of the more amusing things to happen while filming?
Definitely. I think the most amusing for me was going to Santa Monica Pier, and we'd started a SoCal Brony meetup. We put one together, and Karen helped me, and Mike had helped me as well. And we put this meetup together, and I really wanted about 5 or 6 people to have a dinner, and I think 58 ended up showing to the meetup. So,
Nice.
As a one camera, one audio guy trying to wrangle and film all 58, it's not easy. There's a challenge there. It's probably the most people I've ever had to film with, which is just myself directing and filming. So, just so many little things like that happen. I met this guy named Brian too, and Mike kind of delved into him. He's from Minnesota, and he's a guy who's he went to Iraq, and ponies really helped him get out of a bit of a stump that he got in over there. So, really got to have some incredibly intimate conversations, and that's like he's a bit of a filmmaker's dream as well. That guy, he really showed up when I needed him, and he was open to talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff just happened randomly. I mean, like I said, I met up Brony on the street in Halifax. I saw he had a My Little Pony shirt on, and I walked up to him and I said, "Are you a Brony?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, bro hug." And our day went from there. We walked around all day and hung out together. So it was magical.
I'm going to bring something up right now because you brought up the military and Nathan. I don't know if you guys know who Nathan is, but Nathan in my bumper today played Big Mac. He was a gentleman on the right.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan. He lost his brother only a few weeks ago, and he's going through a very rough time. So if you do know Nathan, send him your well wishes because he's going through a very hard time right now.
He's part of
he's part of the military bronies. He's actually based in Southern California. So if you know him, send him your love because he does need it right now.
Yeah, that's a shame. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Next.
Okay. Follow-up question, I guess, from Double Helix. Were there any dark moments for you while you were filming this?
Like dark. When he says dark, does he mean like dark bronies I met, or does he mean like personally going through some dark times?
I think anything you mentioned a couple of the fun things that happened. I think Helix is wondering, did you go through any kind of rough patches or were there some difficulties?
Well, I mean, like on a personal level, this was an incredibly insane year for me. My grandfather passed away while I was filming this film, and at the same time, my brother had a kid, and my 2 best friends got married to each other as well. So that like emotionally, personally, I was very up and down, and it was it was a blessing to go and do something fun and meet up with some bronies. Did I meet up with any dark bronies though? If I want to go down that, if I want to look at the question that way, I don't know if I did. I don't know if anything was that weird. I'm trying to think. Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, going to a few of the conventions. The conventions are pretty much awesome. So it's a lot of positive energy happening there. I think that some of the stories of bronies and how their lives have gone, I think there's definitely been some tragedies and some darker moments, and we had to delve into that a few times. Dusty, you were very open about your life and growing up as well. So, but I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see that as a dark thing. I see that as a human thing, and that's humanity. We're up and down. We're bright. We're dark, and I hope this doc has a little bit of that because I don't want this just to be a shiny commercial for My Little Pony either.
Yeah.
That was one thing that when you first sent me, basically Brent sent me an email. I want to say, when was this? Like March of last year?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. And at the time, like Dusty, you were getting emails from different media groups trying to, get you on like reality shows, well, not reality shows, but like, Taboo or whatever it was.
And all these other shows.
Yeah, and so at the time, I was kind of wary about what Brent was what the project was going to be. And then I looked into it further, and of course, since Ashley referred him over, I was less concerned. But what drew me in about it too was that, and I asked this question at the BronyCon doc screening that they did at EQLA last year, and it was that it felt to me like that documentary was trying to cater too much to the Brony crowd. I mean, it's always fun to watch something that's, that supports what you think, but at the same time, the public can view that as bias. And I still maintain, the BronyCon doc wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not something that would necessarily appeal to a broad general audience. And that was one of the things that I really like about what you're doing, Brent, is that it isn't, it isn't a biased documentary. It's like, this is the fandom, here are a bunch of interesting people, and it's about Ashley. Like, that was something that drew me to it.
And I think there's some, like, a lot of the media out there does say negative things about bronies, and I include some media clips. I'm putting this into perspective for a lot of people who don't know what bronies are and what My Little Pony. All they remember is that they used to get it as a McDonald's toy when they were a kid, and this show and this story has really evolved since then. So I attempted to show as much as I could, but I also there's a lot of crap too that you need to weed out, and the internet creates a lot of that crap that it's really unnecessary. It's unnecessary to the story too, so I didn't dwell in too much of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I completely hear that. Well, okay, Evil Truth wants to know when you started work on the documentary. I suppose that would have been when you went to BronyCon in January, right?
Yeah, a little bit before that. We started when Ashley started getting the emails. So like, I don't mind giving some of this away. It is the bit of the storyline in the doc. Ash packs for BronyCon. She gets the Brony email. She has a sort of a deciding factor whether she wants to go, and then that's mixed in with my journey to find different bronies as well, and Brian's journey as well. So it's I guess we started about just before January, right when she got the invite.
And it's crazy for me because when I finally saw what it was about, this was March or April of last year, and I was at that January BronyCon, but I don't think we ever met there. I think
no.
I was like, oh, there was this guy going around getting this awesome footage, and I didn't even see him.
When I film, I'm very much a fly on the wall. You'd barely see me. I'm pretty good at sneaking around without getting noticed too much. So yeah, I don't think you would have saw me, and I definitely wouldn't have introduced myself at that January BronyCon because I was filming the entire time. I don't think I stopped once.
Well, and then, you were at the, and this is actually another question that I've gotten a couple times now. You were at BronyCon just a few weeks ago in Baltimore. Comparing that BronyCon to the previous one you had been to, at least for me, it was incredible to see an event 20 times the size. For you, was it at all surprising to see that number of people, or what were your reactions to that?
Yeah, it was insane. I couldn't believe how many bronies there were. I just couldn't believe how big it got, and it's not even that. It's become intense. Like, I remember seeing only a few people dressed up as ponies at that first one. There was probably a handful of 30 or 40, and I remember going, "Wow, that guy's dressed as a pony." And you if you weren't dressed as a pony, you only had a Brony T-shirt on, you're an outsider at this last BronyCon. Like, it was huge. And what's this game? Is it Ninja? Is this the game?
Ninja.
Like, I saw a little bit of that happening the first time. And then when we went to the Candlelight Gardens, there was a little bit happening there, and there was massive games of Ninja, and just everything has evolved. It's really evolved. Like you said, it's 20 times bigger, 20 times more exciting. It's neat.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. All right, let's see here. Parasol asks, what were your highlights of doing the documentary? I guess, I suppose that's kind of similar to the previous question, but were there any other highlights you want to share with the audience?
I really like traveling. That's one thing I get out of documentaries, and why I really like doing this for a living. There's there's something about having a camera that gives you access to go into different areas that you never got to go before. So that's why I always got into music documentaries, because I could go to concerts for free, and I could be in the front row and I could film. And I think this was similar to that. Like, I'd never been to South Carolina, and there's the Brony psychologists in South Carolina. And I said, I guess I'm going down there. I wonder what there is to do. And I got to spend time. Or I'd never been to Atlanta, and that's where Silver was. Or I had never been to San Jose, which is where Dusty is as we speak. So that was exciting for me. I got to really see different areas, and I didn't just see them as a tourist. I got to see them with the locals. So that was cool. Exciting.
Cool. Dusty.
What?
Question from Bot117. Will you be going to Buck next year?
Only if Buck wants to fly me there. Because $1,700 worth of flights is way too much money on my salary.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a bit of a limiting factor.
I would love to come to a European con to see my European fans, but the limiting factor is flights. Flights are stupid expensive from the West Coast to England, because you have to cross 2 continents plus a big body of water, unless you go around the other way, and then it's even more expensive. So that's really the limiting factor. I would love to go to Europe to see my fans, but without some serious influx of cash, it ain't happening. So, sorry.
Yeah, I know that. Double Helix asks, Brent, what are your future plans now that the Brony documentary is, well, I guess mostly finished?
I really want to obviously see the Brony doc. I want it to have a life, and I want to see that, and that's going to be exciting. I'm really started in the last year this film company of mine, Hodge Films. So I separated as just a freelancer and started this identity. And we are working a lot in San Francisco right now. We're working a lot in Vancouver still, and we are doing a lot of work with ad agencies and startup companies. But in terms of full-length documentaries going to TV, we have a new idea right now, and it's on the life of the Twinkie. It
just got resuscitated.
Yeah, it did. Just came back to shelf. So it's like the rise, fall, and rise again of the Twinkie. It's very much in its early stages. We're actually just grabbing archive footage right now. So
I just
you
thought
guys,
of a great name for it.
What is it?
Shelf life.
Oh, hey, might have to take that there, Mike. You've provided me with so much. So that's one. We've knocked around a few ideas. We really wanted to do a documentary on the Lost Boys from the movie Hook and find out what they're doing now that they've, the boys that never grow up have grown up. It's funny that they sort of all fall under this pop culture Brony-esque kind of realm, and maybe that's my identity. Maybe that's my niche that I'm going for now. But a lot of the ideas that come to me are still one-off documentaries, feature film length. I'm definitely haven't shied away from doing that. So, I'm going to keep making movies. There's nothing that's totally coming down the pipe yet. I mean, I showcased that I did that ALS documentary, which should be coming out soon as well. So that's finished. So this could be coming out around the same time, and I'll be filming the new one very soon.
Cool.
All right, question from, I believe the name is Marby. Marby asks, how long do you expect the final version of the documentary to be?
It's between 70 and 80 minutes right now. There's actually, I keep pulling between, there's like a 4-minute chunk that I either might leave in or might take out. If I do end up taking it out, it'll be a special feature for anyone on the mailing list, or maybe I'll give it to Everfree Radio or somebody. So, it will be seen because it's already been edited. But I think we're going to, we're probably going to sit around 80 minutes or so. That's a full-length feature, documentary length. It sits for a good 1.5 hours on TV, and we might do a TV cut, which goes to 50 minutes. But film festivals usually want somewhere between 70 and 90 minutes. So I'm happy with that number.
Yeah. I think it paces well at that too. Purple Prowess asks Dusty about how many pony toys are there in your house?
I stopped counting. There's 3 more as of today. So.
Do you just have bins and bins of them, or
no? They are all on shelves, either in my room or on my work desk upstairs, or up here, or over there. But I have them
falling out of the rafters.
Maybe
crammed in the attic.
Maybe I'm a huge blind bag guy. I like the blind bags. So when the blind bags come out, I've got little show boxes of little blind bags here.
I hear the new generation of blind bags.
The new generation of blind bags are awesome. So yeah, I just picked up Octavia's 3-piece set. So that just found that today. So yeah, 3 more.
All right, let's see here. Dark Amethyst asks, Brent, has the Brony fandom changed you in any way?
That's an interesting question.
It's a loaded question.
You know what? I think it has a little bit. I think I'm on the road a lot, like especially the last 2 years I've been on the road, and I think one thing it has done for me is it's made me realize that I need to understand who my community is, and that might not be Bronies, that might not be online, and that might not be a TV show, but it is my family, and it is keeping up with my friends and staying in touch with who makes me feel good and who I like to express my opinions to. And so that's one thing it's done. I think going to the convention in Cleveland was pretty big too. That was I felt like I let loose. Like I went to Silverhound's show and I was done filming, but there was still a couple of days left, and I got this chance to just sort of not be a filmmaker for a second and just kind of just do my thing and have a good time
you came up to me and Rich or A-Track, and you're like, hey, can I just leave my equipment here? I just want to kind of walk around. Is there if I leave my equipment here? I'm like, yeah, it's no problem. Yeah. So that was funny.
Yeah, and I just I think it calmed me down a little because I was on the road, and I don't know if calm down is the right word. It's just like set a different pace on how you see friends in the world and what they can do for you, and the people around you, and how important it is to have that. And like I said, with my grandfather passing away, and my brother having this kid, and my family going through this sort of this rotation, it was I think the right time for me to be meeting Bronies.
Yeah, it was. Candlelight Gardens was a fun convention. Let's see here. Violent Bray says, Brent, have you considered the idea that there might be a doc about you making the doc?
What's funny is that I want to put up more clips of what we do behind the scenes. I put up this clip on our YouTube page just of the announcement of BronyCon, and I felt really good doing that. I felt like this was neat. I almost have like a YouTube channel, which I never thought I would have. And so I want to put up more clips. I'm going to be doing a sound mix. We got to go to Denver tomorrow night, and I'm going to put up a clip the next few days of what we do when we go to hotels, because it's very different when you're in a studio. It's very different from what you have to do when you're in a hotel. So we're going to start. I think I want to do that. I want to do these more sort of behind the scenes, and maybe they can come together and be like a doc. But yeah, that'd be funny. Brony the movie 2. My experience would be funny.
What I started watching over the last few days, I found Broadway.com has been taking stars of the Broadway musicals in New York, and giving them cameras and saying this is what happens behind the scenes. So the lead singer actress of God, what is the hell the character's name? Epona or something like that, in Wicked, the green okay. The singer who does her is just so gregarious and happy and bubbly, and she's got like 9 different 15-minute shorts of what it takes to actually be in a theater show. It is so freaking awesome. If you guys need to go check that out on Broadway.com.
Absolutely. Especially if this film does that theater run that I want, and every one of these theater shows is a special event, like a convention. What great footage we could get.
I get the feeling that if there was a crowd of Bronies, you would have to film it. Like at BronyCon earlier this month, you showed up and you're like, oh my God, look at all this. Do you mind if I just walk over here and film this? I'm like, no, go for it. Yeah. You just whipped out your camera and were filming the crowd, and yeah.
I have to. I love doing it. I'm not gonna give too much away, but like a couple festivals we've been talking to, I know a curator at one of them in Canada, and she said we only want to do this if we can have one of those pony DJs come and do a set after the showing. So
that's hard to arrange.
And it's like, yeah, absolutely. And I just think how cool that would be if I got to film that and just the whole thing. Man. So I really do think the sky's the limit with this doc, and I think this is. I can
see this now, Brent. I can see this now, right?
Yeah.
You get into Sundance, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have the Brony documentary after party, and we're gonna have Alex S, and we're gonna have Silverhound, and we're going to have Mike the Microphone as a three, and then we're going to have, like, I'm going to show up, and then we're going to have, like...
Toom will show up because he just does that.
Toom will show up from Israel, and we're going to have the most rockin' party at Sundance.
Yeah,
and we're going to have people in pony ears and tails just bouncing the whole thing. We're going to have another Richter scale 3.0.
Wait. Are you saying we're going to have a party where we're allowed to jump?
Yes.
That was a problem at BronyCon.
That was a problem.
Okay, I've been asked now by 2 people separately. Apparently, I'm supposed to... Okay, you need to explain this to me a little bit better, Dusty.
Yes.
There's a James Justice in the chat.
There's a James Justice in the chat. James is our resident superhero.
This is what I'm told.
Yeah, resident superhero, James Justice! Who can manipulate cornflakes with his mind. And he keeps us safe.
James Justice.
From the soggy milk of the world.
His question for all, have you seen the MLP collectible card game, and are you interested in playing it? I'll answer for Dusty, yes. And thank goodness I made it tonight, he says. No, I've seen, we had a preview of it on our news site, and it looks really...
It looks interesting. It looks interesting.
Interplay's been doing a good job with what they've made, so...
Yeah. It looks interesting. It depends on the play. I'll pick up a deck or two just so we're gamers around here. We love gaming, so I'm sure we'll pick it up around the house so we can play it and see what it's like.
It's not a battle game.
No, it's not a battle game. So
it's like solving problems.
And we love the solving problem game around here. So we're gonna get some and see what we can do. We might even film it. You never know. But it's got to come out first. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I think it comes out later this
fall. Comes out later this year. So we are right at the end of the show, dude. So find that one really great last question and let's have it.
Well, this is a good question. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, this is from DeJorkin. And he asks, is the January 2012 BronyCon footage the primary source of the footage, or are there lots from other cons as well?
It's definitely the primary source. It's based around Ashley going. The story arc is Ashley Ball going to this convention. There's a lot from Candlelight Gardens, but we don't say it's from Candlelight. It's just in the doc. It's Silverhound's performances from there, and I meet up with a lot of bronies there. We did the interview with Equestria Daily there. We did an interview with the high school bronies there, and so we really do showcase that it's going to BronyCon, but it really does go off on a lot of tracks all over the states and finds different bronies and their personal stories. So, hope that answers that.
Cool. And we are up against it, so I am going to call out all of the wonderful shows here on Everfree Network that you can check out every week. We start off with this beautiful program on Monday evenings, and then we go to Cutie Art Crusaders on Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where the CAC find the best art that this fandom has to offer and tells you why it is so good. And then KPNY on the Odd Weeks, which is the radio play where the ponies finally figure out that we exist and have to figure out what to do about us. So check out KPNY, and that is Odd Weeks Wednesdays. That is 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And Equestrian Inquirer Wednesdays, bi-weekly, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where all the guys bring you the truth from Equestria from the desk of Joe Stevens. And then Into the Spotlight with Osaka Jack Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, where Osaka finds a really great brony, puts a spotlight on them, and gives them all that really great jazz that they really deserve. Sketchy Sounds Live Songcast Thursdays, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2-hour live set of Sketchy playing songs for you. Post My Video with Jay Haller and B-Vids. That's Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that is a premiere video and animation showcase with interviews, guests, and all the really great stuff and content in the PMV area. Brony Breakdown with Saber Spark and Paleo. That is Thursdays nowadays, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We know Saber Spark and Paleo. We love them, and they bring you everything that's going on in the fandom in a very funny way. Check out that show. On the radio side, Lunar Republic Takeover, Fridays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure if Nightmare Moon's kicked off that show yet.
No, I think that's kind of his show.
I know. No. I'm talking about Nightmare. Didn't he? There's an exorcism going to be going on. I just don't know when.
Oh. Yeah, you never know with
you never
that
know.
show.
But you never know with Nightmare Moon. She comes, she goes. You never know.
Yeah.
But that is Fridays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. That is the premiere request show on that side. So if you want to hear a song, go there and ask Nightmare Moon to play it for you. Then, Mixology with DJ One Trick and DJ Midley. That is Saturdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. These two awesome DJs take over and spin it and wub it, and they basically drive you in the ground. And then Eastern Sounds with Frozen Sound, Saturdays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Why that time slot? Because it's for your European fans over there, where it's a 2-hour live mix of Brony dance music for European fans. Saturday Night Songs with Michelle Krieber, I believe, is on hiatus.
Until next month.
Until next month.
Probably next month.
Probably next month, but we'll let you know. But that's usually Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m.
We're
Eastern.
scheming on that.
Scheming.
Yes, it's coming back. Don't worry.
Blue Screen Bronies, Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where the guys tell you what are the great games to play and the games to avoid. The gaming guys get together and tell you all about it. And then Pegasistas Live. That is Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, where Emily J. and Tay tell you all about the fandom from a Pegasistas point of view. So that is all the lovely shows that you can watch every week. What?
Guess how many new shows are coming up?
I have no idea, but if I gotta read any more on this list, I'm gonna have to
Yeah, there are definitely 4 new shows.
4 new shows I gotta put on this list. I'm gonna have to cut out 5 minutes of my show just to talk this thing.
No. Look, all right, hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. When we get to that point, you do not need to rattle all of it off.
Wow.
But actually, I had a question for you now that you're on air and I can put you on the spot. How's Masterpiece coming?
Masterpiece is in the idea stage.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Mike, the microphone, has been very busy lately with his music. So, yeah, I need to take him aside and say, look, dude, what are we doing? So we're going to get there. We'll get there. Trust me.
No, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. We got 4 shows. That's insane.
Yes.
Just picked up... Can I plug what they're going to be? Just really quick.
Go for it.
Do that shameless thing.
Do
Okay. One of them's called Discorded on the Method. That's with Beardy Brony and Josie. And they've already recorded an interview with Peter New for that. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
Let's see here. Another one just picked up is My Little Reviews. They may rename it because everybody says My Little Remix when they say My Little Reviews. Radio is Magic is right now almost done with their pre-production. That's going to be really cool. That's going to be a cool one because it's a discussion show that's going to be animated and tied to a Tumblr.
Cool.
And then, well, the 4th one is Masterpiece, but we're waiting.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
So from that, I would like to thank some people. I would like to thank EFN for giving me the wonderful opportunity to do this show. I'd like to thank Caradwin for helping me do all of this wonderful stuff and the commercials and everything else. Draft for putting up with my ass. Brent Hodge for showing up tonight, because I know he's in San Francisco and he could be out doing things in San Francisco, but he's here talking to us. Amy, my wonderful girlfriend, and all of you out there who come every show to watch me make a fool out of myself. So, thank you all. And
I love you, Dusty.
Yeah, I know. Brent, anything you'd like to say in passing?
I just wanted to say thanks to the fandom and everybody who's been supporting this doc so far, and obviously to Everfree and you guys for having me on. And all the updates will be, if you join the mailing list, it's bronythemovie.com and on the Haji Films Facebook page. That's where everything's going. So, I appreciate the patience. Stay tuned. This movie's going to be great.
Stay tuned. It's coming
And if you lose the link, bronythemovie.com is actually a banner link on the front page of everfree.net. So you can
Oh, cool.
Absolutely.
Right on. Thanks for that.
Okay, gang. Thanks a lot for coming, and we will see you in 2 weeks when we're going to have, for the first time, live from England, Acoustic Brony and Mando Pony at the same time. So, don't miss it. We're going to have a great time in 2 weeks. See you then. Ciao.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We hate to leave you, but we'll be back soon. Good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Good night.